Hello viewers, and welcome back to another episode. Time for a catch up on that Commodore PET. If you haven't already seen it, I'll add a link in the description to part 1. This is all about the Commodore PET that I bought a couple of weeks ago now. It was in quite a state when I got it. This is just a little catch up video, part 2 of the saga. Straightening out the case, that's what I've achieved so far, amongst a few other things of talking to people. But before I reveal how far I've gotten with it, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who commented and offered support and advice, either through the comments in YouTube or via email. It's been quite inspirational actually, and I've had a lot of help and suggestions on how to do things. So thank you very much for that. And for those who haven't seen part 1 of the video, I'm just going to do a quick flashback now, just to show you exactly how bad it was. So we'll do that next. And there it is, the thing that many of us have been looking at on eBay just recently, and what an absolute state it's in. I'll take you around in a moment and do some close-ups and show you how badly damaged it is. Okay, so as you can see, it was in quite a bad state. Now I just want to say one thing before I unveil this. I hope I'm not getting anybody's hopes up, because I'm not going to be doing a complete restoration of this computer. The whole point in this was to rescue this computer as it was and keep it as it was, but try and make it look more like the shape it was intended to be in the first place. Because as you can see, it was in quite a bad shape. In fact, it wasn't even standing on its own 4 feet. The underneath was that warped. It was actually resting on the bottom plate. I'm not going to be painting this. I might touch it up in places. I've done no welding to it yet. It's just literally been a case of reforming the case. So let's take a look. And there you have it. I know it's not amazing looking still, and obviously it's never going to be exactly as it was when it was new, but it's certainly looking a lot more the shape it should be now. I spent probably about 12 hours over 3 or 4 days banging away at it, trying to get it back into this shape that it's in now. I've not been able to get every single ripple and crease out of it, but considering I've only been using hand tools and brute force, I don't think I've done a bad job really. I'll say I'm not an engineer, I'm not a sheet metal worker. This is the first time I've ever tackled anything like this, so it's been quite a new experience for me. I bought a few tools along the way to do this job, some things which I may not ever use again, but they're there if I ever need them. I'll take you around now and do some close-ups of it. Let's start off with the back. So here's the back of it. What I'll probably do in post-production is add some before and after photos so you can see just how bad it was. As you can see, I've managed to rivet the hinge back on. The hinge was even all bent up itself. That took a bit of work. The corners were really crumpled on it. That one's not too bad, but the one on this end I've really struggled. It's still actually open just on the corner there. I may get some JB Weld on that. I'm not sure if that'll do the job, but I'll try it out and we'll see how we get on, just to fill in those gaps. The other option is obviously there's a little tie inside, a little bar of metal going across. I could obviously drill holes in it and pull it back together that way, or weld it, but for now I'm just going to leave it as it is. But as you can see, it's certainly looking a lot better than it was. It's actually now pretty much the shape it should have been to begin with. If you remember this bottom corner, it was all completely crumpled in. It's still not perfect, it's still got a little bit of a ding in there, but I've really struggled to try and get it back out again. The base is the thickest steel actually of the whole cabinet. And the back panel there, that had a massive dent going all the way in. That's back out again now. Two of the brackets are still broken off. I hold that back panel on. As I say, I spent quite a lot of time on this, going back and forth to it each day as I got a bit more strength back. And as you know, with these kind of things, the more time you spend with it, you kind of sort of get a bit worn out with it, looking at it, and you go back to it the next day with a fresh set of eyes. You start seeing things you missed the day before. It certainly knackered me out, that's one thing for sure. I've done that kind of intensive labouring for quite a long time, and I've got blisters everywhere all over my hands as well doing it. To say I've only used hand tools, I don't think I've done too bad a job really. Obviously there's still room for improvement if I ever want to go back to the case, but for now as it is, I'm just going to leave it like that, giving it a good clean. I've got quite a lot of the rust specks off, but I'm going to go back and revisit that. I've gone over it with a cloth covered in WD-40 for now, giving it a good wipe down just to stop any of the bare metal rusting again for the time being. One of the other things I managed to do as well was clean off that logo after soaking the glue that was on there from some kind of tape or glue, because I think somebody must have had a badge covering it up. Soaking it in WD-40 really helped me get it all off. I was quite careful when I did it because I didn't want to damage the actual blue logo itself, so I just used my thumbnail and slowly scraped it off. It took 2 or 3 soakings, but I managed to get it all off in the end. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of damage that was already on there before I'd attempted that. Like I've said before, it's not a pretty sight, but it's still a lot better than it was. This PET is never going to be pristine again. I just wanted to preserve it for what it is, basically. It is a rescue PET at the end of the day. I could have quite easily just completely swapped out the whole case. Out of all the metal work I was doing to this, the hardest part to work with was actually the monitor surround, because that was in quite a bad shape. That seemed to have taken the brunt force of the crushing. The surround there still doesn't fit back in the case properly. As you can see, it's not matching up. It's all off one side. I've tried pulling it to the point to make it straight, but no matter how hard I try, it just wants to flex the opposite way. So when I try and pull at the top of the bottom there, or that way rather, to bring it back over on itself, the whole metal just wants to twist and warp the opposite way, because obviously there's not a lot of structural integrity there to begin with. So unfortunately I'm not going to be able to use that. So I have got another monitor housing on the way to try things out in the future when I get a CRT screen for it. Sadly, the CRT board is also damaged. The flyback transformer there, the ferrite core has been broken off. I've got a piece of it, but I haven't got all of it. I've been told I can glue it back together, but unfortunately with that end piece missing, it's just not going to work properly. And to be quite honest with you, it's quite loose. I don't know if I trust it, but I've got all the other spares on there if I need it. I've got a spare yoke which actually looks intact, surprisingly. Same with the transformer. I've got another one of those on the way, because for the time being I'm just going to pass on trying to repair that, because at the end of the day I just want to get this PET up and running to see if it actually works. So I've got another transformer on the way. I've got that as a spare if I ever need it. If I ever want to go down the road of rewinding it, it's there if I need to. So the other thing I'm struggling to get hold of for this is a CRT screen. It's a 9-inch screen, black and white, because the first PET was a black and white screen, whereas the later ones was a green phosphor screen. One thing I have stumbled across on YouTube is Adrian Black from Adrian's Digital Basement. He's actually used a Macintosh CRT screen to test out his CRT board when he was trying to sort out the dot problem that you get when you switch these computers off. He popped one on there and it actually worked. So I've actually ordered a Macintosh to try the tube out of it on this when I get the new CRT board. That way I'll be able to test the main board itself and see if there's any life in it. The only thing it is with the Macintosh tube, the lugs that mount at the front there onto the screen housing, they're set back on the PET version, whereas on the Macintosh version they're set forward, so that would make the tube about an inch further back. So with this housing here, because the front's not in, if I made an MDF surround for it to fit in, I could potentially fit the Macintosh screen in this permanently. So that's something I have to think about for the future. Well, I must say this has been a very challenging episode actually, buying this. I I think when I first saw it, I just felt sorry for it, and I didn't really think ahead of just how much work would be involved. Like I said, bending that case back in shape has been very tough. It's certainly been a tough challenge. But I've learnt a lot of things along the way, and I've met a lot of interesting people along the way as well in buying this, through all the comments and through messaging. So I have no regrets. I'm still glad I bought it, and I hope as time goes on and all the parts start coming together, it'll start looking like as it should again. Like I've said, I keep saying it, I know I keep saying it, but it's never going to be immaculate. I want it to have its battle scars. I want it to show what it's been through, basically. And when it's all finally together, I'll probably have it sitting in the background here somewhere, in pride of place. Well, please let me know your thoughts on this. I'm always interested in reading the comments, and if I have anything worthwhile to say, I'll respond to them. So I guess that just leaves me to say for this episode, as always, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll be seeing you. And if you did enjoy watching this video, you may want to take a look at some of my other videos on similar themes. I'm always buying something on eBay, some more piece of technology, and trying to repair it. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thanks for watching.